Most men who own a watch were never taught how to own one, so a 30-meter rating gets treated like a swimming pass. A date gets cranked forward at 10 p.m. A $400 gear snaps. A man can spend thousands on a suit and still ruin the entire look with the wrong watch. These are the 10 rules nobody writes down, and getting even one wrong will quietly expose you to the people who do. Rule number 1. Size it to your wrist. Most men get watch sizing wrong by chasing case diameter and ignoring the number that actually matters. A 6-inch wrist belongs in the 34 to 38 millimeter range. A 7-inch wrist, 38 to 42. An 8-inch wrist can carry 44 to 46, but only if the lug-to-lug still fits. Because case diameter is not the real test. Lug-to-lug is. If the lugs hang over the edge of your wrist, the watch is too big. A 44 millimeter Panerai on a 6.5-inch wrist is not a flex. It looks comical. Proportion is the difference between wearing a watch and being worn by one. Rule number 2. Match the watch to the dress code, not the outfit. A 45 millimeter dive watch with a navy suit signals one thing, that you do not know the rules. A thin dress piece on black leather with a clean dial signals that you do. Black tie calls for a slim dress watch, no complications, and a case thin enough to disappear under the cuff. Business formal calls for a simple dress watch under 40 millimeters. Sharp casual is where your steel sports watch lives. Field watches, rubber straps, and NATO straps belong on weekends. Historically, wearing a watch to black tie was considered rude because it suggested you wanted to leave. Today, the compromise is discretion. The watch should be there, but barely. Understated is not boring. Understated is fluent. Rule number 3. Know what your water resistance rating actually means, because it does not mean what you think. 30 meters does not mean you can swim in 30 meters of water. The rating on the caseback is a static laboratory pressure rating. Real water creates dynamic pressure spikes. A showerhead jet exceeds 3 atmospheres. Jumping into a pool exceeds 5 atmospheres. 3 atmospheres means splashes and rain. Nothing more. 5. ATM is safe for showers and hand washing. 10. ATM, 100 meters. That is where swimming begins. Get this wrong once and a luxury watch becomes an expensive service bill. And the next rule is where most men permanently destroy a watch and never even realize they did it. Rule number 4. Never adjust the date between 9 p.m. and 3 a.m. Most men have no idea this is a rule. Inside almost every mechanical watch with a date are physically engaged during this window. Call it the danger zone, slowly pushing the wheel forward to change at midnight. If you force the quick-set date during this period, you're jamming 2 engaged mechanisms against each other. Something has to give, and most men never realize what caused the damage. A stripped gear tooth, a bent jumper spring, a misaligned date disc, a Patek Philippe perpetual calendar adjusted in the danger zone can cost over $1,000 to repair. The safe method is simple. Advance the time past midnight, set the time to 6 a.m., then adjust the date. One rule learned once, and it protects every mechanical watch you will ever own. Rule number 5. Take the watch off your wrist before you wind it. Every watchmaker in the world cringes when they see a man winding on the wrist. The crown stem is designed to handle straight controlled pressure. Winding on wrist applies sideways torque every single turn. Eventually, the stem bends, strips, or snaps, and on a luxury watch, that repair starts at several $100s. Hold the case in your non-dominant hand. Turn the crown clockwise between your thumb and index finger, 20 to 40 rotations until you feel firm resistance. Then stop. Modern automatics have a slipping clutch that prevents overwinding, but manual watches do not. Force past resistance, and you have just broken a mainspring. Wind it like a tool, not a fidget toy. Rule number 6. Your leather watch strap should match your shoes and belt. Not the shirt, not the tie, the shoes and the belt. This rule has survived a century of menswear for a reason. Black leather with black shoes and a black belt. Brown leather with brown shoes and a brown belt. Ox blood with ox blood. Mixing black and brown is the single most common men's style mistake, and it is instantly visible. Metals follow the same logic. Silver-toned watches go with cool colors: navy, gray, charcoal. Gold and rose gold go with warm tones: brown, tan, cream. 3 straps cover almost everything: a dark brown leather, a black leather, and a navy NATO. Under $150 total. But the next rule has nothing to do with how the watch looks. It is about whether the watch survives. Rule number 7. Service the watch before it stops, not after. The most expensive sentence in horology is, "It still works fine. Why service it?" Inside a mechanical watch, gears run at 28,800 beats per hour, lubricated by microscopic films of oil. When that oil dries out, and it will, metal grinds against metal. Industry consensus is every 3 to 5 years for most mechanical watches. Omega recommends 5 to 8. Rolex says 10 officially, but the real-world number is closer to 7. A preventive service on a Rolex runs $600 to $900. A neglected movement that fails catastrophically can require a $3,000 rebuild or destroy the value of a vintage piece entirely. Service is insurance you can predict. Repair is the bill you cannot. Rule number 8. Authenticate before you buy, especially pre-owned. The counterfeit watch industry produces an estimated 40 million fake watches per year, and Rolex is the biggest target. There are an estimated 23 million fake watches circulating in the United States alone. A decade ago, most fakes could be spotted on sight. Today, some are good enough to fool experienced buyers without a movement inspection. Counterfeiters now produce fake boxes, fake warranty cards, and fake service receipts. Buy from authorized dealers. Use reputable pre-owned specialists who authenticate before resale. Insist on a movement inspection on anything over $5,000. If the deal looks too good to be true, it is. Documentation alone is no longer enough. Provenance is. Rule number 9. Wear the watch on your non-dominant wrist. 90% of the world is right-handed, and roughly 95% of watches are built with the crown on the right side. The math is not an accident. Your dominant hand does the work. Writing, lifting, swinging, gripping, your non-dominant wrist takes less impact and stays out of the way. It also lets your dominant hand operate the crown naturally when the watch is off your wrist. If you are left-handed, look for Destro watches, Tudor Pelagos LHD, Panerai left-handed models, and certain Sin pilots are built with the crown at 9 o'clock for the 10% this actually matters to. Tradition has a reason. Knowing the reason is the difference between style and accident. Rule number 10, and this is the one almost nobody is willing to tell you. Buy what you will actually wear, not what's hyped. The watch investment narrative has cost men more money than it has ever made them. Bloomberg's Subdial 50 index contracted 19% in a single year. The watches that genuinely appreciate are limited to steel sports models with wait lists, discontinued references, and a handful of independent makers. That is it. Most other watches, Omega, Tudor, Tag Heuer, Breitling, and many Cartier or IWC references typically lose 30 to 50% of retail within 5 years. Two-tone and dress models tend to get hit the hardest. The only person who reliably wins on a gray market premium is the dealer charging it. Buy what you will wear what you buy. That is the collector's rule. Those are the 10 rules. Now, I'm curious. Which one surprised you the most? Drop it in the comments. If this helped, subscribe. There is more like this coming.